Hey, what's up, ladies and gentlemen? This is David Benjamin from HealthyWildandFree.com. Today I want to talk about the topic of science and health and asking or proposing the question, can health be harmed by science, or can improper or false science harm your health? And obviously the answer to that question is yes, because obviously science is not, there's not one science. And the reason I'm sharing this information with you today and talking about this specific topic is because I publish a lot of health information, home remedies, holistic remedies, nutrition, superfoods, diet, detoxification, fitness, you name it, topical, transdermal applications, aromatherapy, vaporizing, infrared therapies, magnetic therapies. I mean, the list goes on and on and on and on, the things I published, and I believe a lot of these have value, but a few of them, or several of them, don't have much science validating or backing those claims. So for example, like my last video or article on my site that I posted recently was putting onions in your socks while you're sleeping. Now I believe personally that it does something, and you can try it out for yourself to see for yourself. But I got a lot of people that said, oh, this science, this and that. There's no science. And I'm like, well, who is going to fund a study of someone putting onions in their socks while sleeping? I mean, it's just not going to happen. No, there's no money to back that study, and there's no beyond. Obviously, I believe there's a benefit, like I said, because it's applied to your feet, and the onions and the sulfur and all these things, are touching your skin, which has an effect, obviously. But in my opinion, there's no one funding that because it's what is the Onion Farming Growers Association going to fund that? I mean, it really just doesn't make sense that there's going to be science behind it. So not everything I publish is going to have science behind it, but the topics I want to cover today are important because if you understand science and the spectrum or range of science in our world today, you can further understand how science is used to basically covertly influence you to believe something that may not necessarily be true or beneficial to your health and well-being. So there's different forms of science, in my opinion, and it's important to recognize these forms of science because when you understand these forms of science, you can actually decipher science better and understand if a specific study is slanted in a favor of a company or organization or the government or whatever it may be, or if it's completely slanted in the other direction. Sometimes things are completely slanted in the way of holistic or natural because that's what an individual is selling. So there's all different types of science, but I think it's important to understand that holistic health, nutrition, superfoods, and whole foods from the earth are always going to have value, and science has validated and improved and backed that over and over and over again. I mean, the nutrition, there's thousands of studies on how whole foods from the earth and plants from the earth are beneficial for our health and well-being. So I think it's important to understand that, and then also start to understand that a lot of the science proving that man-made pharmaceuticals or chemicals are safe isn't necessarily safe or good long-term, or they find out it's not safe later. Whoops, FDA pulls that one out for some reason, I don't know. But so basically there's different forms of science, and it's important to understand those. So the first form of science that I believe is important to understand is conflicting science. So there's a lot of science that will say, this is a certain way. So for example, cucumbers are, they have beneficial minerals and vitamins and silica and all this kind of stuff, and it's great for this and this and that. And then there could be another study that says, cucumbers aren't that healthy, they don't have that much, but genetically modified cucumbers are actually healthier. Those are two scientific studies done by two different parties with two different objectives because they are backed by different people, financially speaking. So it's important to understand that there's a lot of conflicting science, and if you start to research and just Google things, just Google, different science and, this and that, you'll start to find there's conflicting research out there in a lot of cases. And it's not really whole foods specifically, because it's kind of obvious that, once again, whole foods, foods from the earth, plants are beneficial, but there is a lot of conflicting science, and it's important to understand that, your friends, and I have a lot of friends who are what I call science heads, meaning science, they operate, neck up, and it's just straight science. There's no, heart, there's no, gut intuition, it's just all brain rah, and then they're very stuck on their scientific sources that are, very, very scientific, and okay, cool, go ahead, do that. But there's values to that, but you have to be able to decipher that information. So first things first, there's conflicting science, two different forms of science, two different scientific studies sharing different results from the same food, the same plant, the same drug, the same whatever it may be. That should concern you. The second form of science is just really just conflict. Well, obviously there's conflicting, but then there's just, in my opinion, utterly false science. So if you start to do the research, from that conflicting science standpoint, you can see that maybe 80% of the scientific research and peer-reviewed studies, double-blind placebo studies, all that kind of stuff, is 80% is supportive of one thing and 20% is, objectively critical and negative towards it. And that 20% is what the big organizations publish. So it seems like it's the majority of the scientific literature out there, but indeed, in fact, it is not. So 80% of the science is actually truthful, but it's hidden and buried on the page 2 and 3 of Google because it's not shown at the top, because those big organizations, the National Institute of Health, governmental organizations, scientific organizations that are funded by big pharma, big agriculture, and all the et cetera, so on and so forth, are authority websites, meaning they are higher up in Google's search results. So that's one thing that's important to understand. Another form of science that I believe is very, very commonplace is just bought and paid for science. This is one example too. If you look up, GMOs and genetically modified organisms and GMO foods, there's science that shows that it facilitates the growth of cancer in lab rats. But then there's science showing it's healthier and it has more, vitamin A and things of that, more nutrition, basically. What do you believe? Well, that's for you to decide, obviously, but it's important to see the big picture. Watch films on GMOs and go online and do your research. Even experiment for a week. Heck, eat GMOs for a week straight, see how you feel, and then go the next week and eat organic for the whole week and just see how you feel. Do your own scientific research. Be your own scientific experiment. That brings me to the final kind of point in this video, and I wrote a longer article on this, and I'd love for you to read that and leave your feedback if this is a topic you're interested in. But I think it's important to also understand that we are our own scientific experiments. So for me, I'm a biohacker, meaning I like to hack my biology, meaning I like to enhance, optimize, and improve my biology and improve my nutrition intake, my detoxification protocols, and my fitness routines, and my sleep habits and patterns, and hormone optimization, and boost nitric oxide, and improve brain health, left-right brain function, all this kind of stuff. I am my own science experiment. And the reason I share that is because we all have a unique genetic code. We all have unique bodies, unique organisms. We all have different bacteria in our gut. There's no one path. Science is not the Godhead. It's not the God particle, as some people say. It's really objective and it's subjective. It's to be determined by you, the researcher, the reader, and the person consuming it. So I think science can be used in a beneficial way if it is something that is proven true throughout the whole scientific community and validated and beneficial. But if something is conflicting or it's questionable if you start to research it, there's a good chance that science is backed by financial interests, be it pharmaceutical companies, big agriculture, big food processing companies, chemical companies, Johnson & Johnson, Monsanto, Dow Chemical, the list goes on and on, you name it. What is science in the corporate world? It's called research and development. Science is a portion, it's a department of a company. So science is for profit. I think people need to understand that. Science is created to show people this is the best and you should buy it. Science is used as a tool for profit. So I think science has a lot of value, and I'm always reading and learning about new science and health science and the like. And I think it's important to understand, but I think it's very important to view it with a good balanced perspective and really do your research thoroughly. I'm not going to get into this all now because this is getting to be a long video, but I talk about causation doesn't imply correlation, and that the significance of health and science and that in your health, and a lot more on the article I wrote about this. So I linked up the article right below this video. You can head over to my blog at healthywildandfree.com, and the article, just click it right below this video and you can check that out. And thanks a lot for your time. I hope you learned something from this video. I hope you found it valuable, and I hope you view science with two eyes instead of one, and just see things in a harmonious perspective that gives you the most value for your health and well-being. I know I'm going to continue to, and I hope you do as well. Thank you for those of you that watch these videos. Thank you so much for sharing them. If you just want to click the share button below and be like, this guy is so cool, maybe even cooler than Oprah, ... smiley face, winky face, thumbs up, exclamation point, or something like that. That'd be really cool. I really appreciate you guys, everyone that watches this, ladies and gentlemen, all of you that spread the word. It means a lot to me. Thanks for subscribing, liking, favoriting, commenting, and sharing this video below. I'll see you in the next video. Take care and have a great day. Bye.